both the House and the Senate. House Republicans have their first chance to show their commitment to bipartisanship when they return next week. The last thing Americans need right now is a pointless government shutdown. A shutdown will hurt just about every American, and yet there are some on the hard right in the House who say they actually want a shutdown.
Fraud direct loans and federally owned family education loans. Now, the adjustment to student loan accounts will go toward helping borrowers get closer to forgiveness under the income-driven plans. And after this adjustment, people should be getting stimulus payments because the one-time payment adjustment helps to reverse some of the damage caused by loan services that did not properly track deferments or steer borrowers to roughly 180,000 working poor households who claim the state's earned income tax credit on the 2021 state tax returns. The state earned income tax credit currently is worth 30% of the federal credit and provides recipients an average benefit of $700. The one-time $300 bump Lamont and other Democrat-controlled legislature approved for earned income tax credit recipients effectively raised the state credit temporarily to 42% of the tax benefit. But tax reform advocates have been pushing for years to make permanent a child tax credit and enhance earned income tax credit program. The governor of the city wants to reassess the state's fiscal health after much of the $3 billion in federal crisis relief Connecticut received last year has been exhausted. Over the weekend, buyers paid a $5 a gallon, or roughly $100 to fill the tank, and gas prices have doubled since Biden took office. JP Morgan analysts predict $6 a gallon by August, and experts warn this crisis will continue even after Biden's term ends because he's dismantling fossil fuel production. There are now 20 states plus Washington, D.C. with averages of $5 or above. The highest priced states remain California with a state average of $6.40 a gallon. 31% of the nation's 130,000 gas stations were already selling gas for more than $5 a gallon. There are stations and states where gas is cheaper. About 15% of stations nationwide still are selling gas for less than $4.50 a gallon. But even in May, states where gas is cheaper, such as Mississippi, lower average income can mean drivers have to work longer to fill up their tanks. Biden has fighting in. New data has been released and it's by the federal government. Nancy Pelosi has made an announcement on inflation. Millions of low-income households can expect to receive inflation relief checks very soon, and these payments will be automatically sent out for some, while others may have to take action to receive this assistance. And not only that, you guys want to be sure to continue to watch this video because it gets much more interesting. Now, as Republicans regain momentum on concerns about the economy, the only thing that Democrats seem to agree on about their issue is that inflation and high gas prices is the problem. Now, Representative Ro Khanna has told NBC News that, "What is our message about why inflation is going to be worse if Republicans win? I don't think our economic message has been loud or sharp enough." And when asked about inflation this week, Nancy Pelosi said, "We'll have to message it better in the next 3 weeks ahead, with gas prices up again and the one-time payment adjustment the Education Department had counts certain months that were previously ineligible towards student loan forgiveness. But now, everybody, the Education Department announced a one-time payment adjustment for all direct loans and federally owned family education loans. Now, the adjustment to student on fluctuations in inflation, as determined by the Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers. The Social Security Administration compares the average CPIW in 3 months of the third quarter of the current year to the same time frame in the year prior. One expert even told CNN News that COLA increase is a valuable feature that keeps retirees from truly being tied to a fixed income when managing expenses. The CPIW was also 8.5% in July and dipped down to 8.3%. And so with 2023 COLA, it's 8.7%. Predictions are fluctuating greatly each year, and the nonpartisan committee for responsible for our budget estimated benefits would increase by as much as 10.8%. So in July, the organization's senior policy director predicted that if inflation remained on its current trajectory, the increase would be 11% higher, the highest ever. And by August, Richard Johnson, director of the Retirement Policy Program, told American Rescue Plan that somewhere in the 9% range is probably a reasonable guess. The COLA goes into effect with December benefits, which appear in checks delivered in January 2023. Social Security payments are made on Wednesdays, following a rollout schedule based on the beneficiary's birthday. For people who receive Social Security benefits, there is a letter coming in the mail that you will want to keep an eye out for. The administration is already sending out letters throughout December, regardless of the cost of living adjustment coming in January. You may need it for a number of things, including proof of benefit amount when applying for loans or energy assistance. The letter notifies beneficiaries of their 2023 benefit amount, and if your COLA payment is more or less than you expected, you can make an appeal to the SSA and your COLA letter or COLA e-letter, which will act as a sort of proof of payment.
Mineral mapping and fund crucial facilities and research at the U.S.
We have a ton of news about the fourth stimulus check, Social Security benefits, SSI, and SSDI. Here's everything that I want you guys to know. Americans can expect to receive a letter from the IRS very soon on future relief checks. New details have also been released on tax credits and monthly stimulus payments. Over 1 million low-income households have currently qualified for a one-time $500 relief check, and taxpayers should expect their mail for some good news soon. Starting this week, the IRS is sending letters to more than 9 million individuals and families who appear to qualify for a variety of key tax benefits, but did not claim them by filing a 2021 federal income tax return. Many in this group may be eligible to claim some or all of the 2021 recovery rebate credit, the child tax credit, and the earned income tax credit, and other tax credits as well. The IRS Commissioner Chuck Reddick has also announced that the IRS wants to remind everybody that's potentially eligible for this payment that they may qualify for these valuable tax credits even if they are not required to file a tax return. They may still qualify for several important credits. We don't want to overlook these tax credits, and letters will remind people of their potential eligibility. Until people claim these benefits without charge, the Free File tool is going to remain open for an extra month this year. Until November 17th, that is. The tool enables people whose incomes are $73,000 or less to file a return online for free. Individuals whose incomes are below $12,000 and couples whose incomes are below $25,000 may be able to file a tax return to claim the recovery rebate credit, which covers any stimulus payment amounts from 2021 that they may have missed and the child tax credit as well. In an effort to help families fight inflation, the New York governor has also announced last month that people in New York will receive an average payment of $270 through the state tax credit program. As part of the 2022-2023 New York State budget, New York taxpayers could receive a check for two different payments under the Empire State Child Credit and the Earned Income Credit. And while the payments will come out as a relief for many, most of the state's nearly 20 million residents are eligible. Around 1.75 million low-income New Yorkers and families are eligible for payments. This program will actually put money back into the pockets of nearly 2 million New York families struggling to make ends meet in the face of the crisis. And also, beginning this fall, around 3 million people in Georgia can expect a check of $350 to arrive in their bank, and that's because the governor has released up to $1 billion in crisis aid to send people funds to deal with inflation. Despite nearly $3 billion in excess revenues flowing back to taxpayers next month, Massachusetts residents are already urging for more financial relief from lawmakers at least. Currently eligible residents can expect to receive a rebate that is 13% of their 2021 state income tax liability, with the average amount at about $530. According to Massachusetts Budget and Policy Center, low-income households who do not pay income taxes will not get any refund under the tax cap law, and the bottom 20% of earners will receive an average credit of just $9. Taxpayers would have needed to earn more than